Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Trevor with Make Your Experiment. Today's exciting because it's sunny, it's Friday, and I'm going to be heading to the ISA Expo for about 2 to 3 hours. So I thought I'd do a quick video of what it's like there, the kind of things you'll see there. I don't, unfortunately, get to go for the entire time since this is the last day and they close at 4, but I am going to head that direction, see what's there, talk with some people, and I'll give you a little recap at the end about what it was like. So first up, let's go ahead and get some lunch and head down there. All right, for lunch we got good old Jack in the Box. Good times. Hi, I'd like the big box chicken classic.
And what for the drink?
A cherry Coke with no ice.
Anything else?
That'll be all.
You'll have the menu at the window.
All right, thank you. All right, I just got to the convention center, check in, and then we'll go into the show and see what's here. So it is the next day. I went to ISA Expo yesterday. I did get to see quite a bit in those 3 to 4 hours that I was there, and I thought I'd do a quick recap of the types of things that you would see if you went to ISA or a similar sign show. One of the first things up is you will see a lot of machinery. When I say machinery, I mean things like lasers. There were a ton of laser companies there. Epilog Laser was there, Trotec, Thunder Laser, EP Laser, GCC. There were a ton. I want to say I probably saw at least 10, and I'm sure that's not all of what was there. You will also see things like CNC machines that will be both, I would say, more like the signage, wood cutting type CNC machines, as well as the sign board that have like a swivel cutter on it type of CNC machines. They were kind of like all over the place. There were some small ones, there were some huge, 5 by 10 foot ones. There were all types of things, including a water jet as well. So there was a water jet company there. Pretty much any sign machinery that you can think of was there. There were heat presses there were cutters there were lasers there. There were even automated machines where you would have a suction cup vacuum thing, go from one station, pick up stuff, swing it over to the machine, lay it on the machine, and then it would cut it out. So there's a lot of automation as well. It was really cool to see. Another thing that I saw was there were a ton of wrap companies for the vinyl wrap for cars, as well as window signage and things like that. There were both the vinyl companies as well as the installers that were there. It was really cool to see that kind of stuff. So there were a couple of cars that were wrapped along the way that you could check out that I think they wrapped during the week while they were there. But there were a lot of vinyl companies there. I know Avery Dennison was there, 3M was there. And then on the maker side of things, Caesar North America was there for their heat transfer vinyl and their adhesive backed vinyl. They also had their cutters there. That was really cool to see. So yeah, there was a ton of stuff from the machinery and vinyl world. There was also a lot from the materials and supply side. So there were a ton of acrylic suppliers. There were a ton of channel bent letter machines and their supplies. I saw a ton of LED lighting suppliers. There was one in particular that stuck out. The G2G lighting was there with a CNC machine. But the CNC machine, instead of it was like the same format, same look and everything, but they had converted it or made it into a 3D printer. They were 3D printing like little pieces of signs, and then they were putting their LEDs in them and making LED light art that was 3D printed. It was a really cool concept. The weird thing is I can't find anything online about the printer that they had there. So they called it the clip cap. Here's like the brochure that they had. So they made letters using 3D printing. They claim to have this proprietary filament, and they have information on the back of here. This pamphlet is all the information I can find right now. So I did contact the company to see if I can find out more information about it. When I was talking to somebody at the booth, it was a salesperson, and when I asked them about the 3D printer, the proprietary filament is some kind of PLA blend with something else. Obviously, they wouldn't talk about that part and why, or they wouldn't deep dive that part. The weird thing was, when I asked them what the pricing would be on the 3D printer, he said it wasn't finalized yet. They're still thinking of coming out with it. And then when I asked about it too, he said the price would be around $100,000. So that right there makes me believe that it's not true. Because that's a lot of money for just a 3D printer in my mind. The filament seemed to be the special proprietary thing, not the actual CNC piece of it, or the 3D printer piece of it. So we'll see in the coming months if they have more information come out about it. $100,000 seems really steep, especially considering some of the other machinery at the show that you can get for way less than that. I don't know if he was telling me the truth on the pricing or if he was just making up some random number. I don't know. I wasn't there for a ton of time, so most of who I talked to was the water jet company. I talked to Epilog because I knew some of the people that were at the booth. I also spoke with Caesar, I spoke with MBS Standoffs, and I spoke with the G2G lighting as well as one called Everylight. Now, Everylight had a cool giveaway or takeaway, I guess, from the show, where they actually gave me these booklets. So these came in a bag from Everylight, and what they are is they are LED books. So you open it up and you see the different kinds of LED lights. This one is a 12 volt version, and then they also had a 24 volt version. They came with power adapters to them, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one up right behind me. I'll use the 24 volt version. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. There's actually a plug here on the side, and we'll light it up so you can see how bright these things are. So this one, you go through, plug it in, and it is super bright. I don't know if the camera shows kind of how bright that is, but it is bright. So if I turn it off and then turn it back on again, I thought this was actually a really unique idea of how to display the LED lights that people could take home with them so they can actually try out the different styles. They have all the part numbers. They have all of the different information you need to know on the technical side. I don't remember if they sell directly or through distributors, but they do a lot of exterior lighting. And keep in mind that these lights are not going to be like the cheap Amazon strips or neon lights or things like that. These are probably going to be quite a bit more expensive, but they are meant for more long-term industrial usage. So I didn't get a price on them. I'm hoping to find out more information. We will see if the company actually sends it to me. Another cool thing about the show is if you like something at the booth, they will scan your badge and they will actually send you more information that it's detailed around what you want to see. They can take notes next to your name on what you want to see. So there's an acrylic company as well. And if I have that in the bag, oh, I did get this bag. So this one was Plascolite. I have a few pamphlets from them. They actually had an acrylic that was an erasable acrylic where they actually use it in graffiti applications where if they notice a place that gets a lot of graffiti happening, they will install the designs on this type of acrylic and then you can just go up and, I guess, clean it off more easily, which is kind of cool. They have some other stuff as well, from LED backlighting to LED edge lighting. So there were a lot of cool things. You cannot buy these direct, but you can buy them through distributors. Piedmont Plastics is one of those. And then I got a bunch of booklets from Everylight. I talked to them for quite a while. And then I got from MBS Standoffs, they were handing out gloves and squeegees, which are used for the wrap stuff. So for vehicle wraps. They actually gave me a bunch of those. I think I have like 6 or 7. I'm not really sure why he gave them all to me, but I thought it was kind of cool. I also got some cards from different companies, and that's actually all I brought home. I will say that there was a lot more on the free sample side if you went to all of the booths. I didn't have a ton of time there, so only 3 or 4 hours. That's pretty much reflective of what I was able to do in 3 or 4 hours. The show spanned the entire hall at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center. It was not the biggest show I've ever been to here, but it is definitely bigger than something like the APA Expo. And I thought that was really cool to see not only one industry of signage, but also the wrap industry, the printing industry, all of that was pretty much there. I do wish I could have gone longer. I do recommend going to ISA Expo if you've never been to it before, or really any signage show if you've never been to one before. There's Printing United, there's the SGIA show, there is the ISA Expo, and there's a ton of shows across the industries. Those are most of the print and signage ones. There's also ones for heavy duty machinery. I know that we have AWFS coming up in July for woodworking. That one is in town. But yeah, there are a ton. And if you ever get an opportunity to go to one in your area, I highly recommend going, because you can see not only a ton of laser companies, UV printer companies, and different things like that, but you can also see the material companies, the lighting companies, pretty much everything you use throughout the process. This one in particular definitely seemed to focus more on the, I don't know if you want to call it like industrialized side of things. I didn't see JP Plus there. I didn't see JDS Industries there. But I saw, like I mentioned, Caesar North America there. I didn't really see a lot of the normal sheet stock suppliers that we're used to using, but I did see the larger companies that make acrylic and sell acrylic through distribution, and that's typically what you'll see at those kind of shows. So overall, would I go? Absolutely, I would go again. I would love to go the full time. You cannot get through the whole show in a day if you actually want to talk with companies and find out more about their products and what they do. It's just not feasible. You're going to spend all day probably talking to maybe 8 to 10, depending on what you want to see. So keep that in mind as you plan out going to a show that you might not be able to get through it all in a day. I know people that have tried, it didn't go well. I also know somebody that went to the show for all days of the show. I don't remember how many days it was, 3 or 4, something like that. And they didn't make it through all of the booths. So it's a lot to get through. AWFS is even bigger if you want to go to the woodworking show. SGIA is usually bigger, and I think Printing United is even bigger. But yeah, I definitely recommend going to one if you've never been to one. So this video is a little bit different than the normal ones. It's more just a recap of what I saw at the expo. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. If you know a show that you want to go to, or if you want to see something from another show that's in Vegas, let me know and I will try to go to it in the future and bring back the feedback from it, what I see, and everything else. There's also a bunch of freebies you can get that I just didn't want, and I didn't want to haul them around. So there is definitely a lot of stuff you can take away from the show for free, and it just depends on what you want to go for. But that's going to do it for the recap. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video. Hopefully the video has been helpful. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that you know when I come out with new videos. Feel free to share them with your friends, because as I'm able to grow this channel, the more videos I'm able to produce and keep doing. So then I have more content for all of you to see. And check out my Instagram at MakerExperiment, where I do share things along the way. I tried to share some from the show. Some I got distracted, not gonna lie. There were a lot of cool things there. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next video.